Okay, it should start in a couple seconds. Sorry, I'm already hitting
Okay.
play. I'm just waiting on the computer to roll it out. We are live. Excuse me. Now, if you're struggling with self sabotage and you don't know where to start, here, right here on this podcast, we're building the community. I want to remind you breaking self sabotage patterns takes time. You've been operating like this for years, every decade, like I was. Be patient with yourself. Celebrate the small wins. We're building a community of people committed to breaking these cycles. Welcome back to Terror to Triumph. I'm Alfonso Pelt, and with me tonight is my co co-host, co-host Storm. Lord have mercy. I'm having all
Yes.
kind of debobulations and contribulations tonight. Sorry about that. Hello, Storm. How you doing tonight?
I'm fine. How you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. We both hope you made it through the holidays. We know they're hard for survivors. We talked about that in our last episode, how to survive the holidays, how to set boundaries, and how to protect your peace. Tonight, we're moving into something different, but equally important. We're answering the why questions. Why does your body freeze when you're scared? Why do you have nightmares? Why can't you concentrate? Why do certain things trigger you back into panic? Why do you feel disconnected from your body? Understanding the neuroscience of trauma is powerful because when you understand why your body does what it does, you stop blaming yourself. You stop thinking you're broken and you start understanding yourself with compassion. You ready?
Yes.
You ready, Storm, for this breakdown?
Yes, let's do this breakdown. Let's start with the basis.
Absolutely.
Yes, when you, let's start with the basis. When you experience trauma or perceive a dread, your brain does not respond the way you may think. Your brain has three main parts that matters here. The reptilian brain, the brain stem. This is the oldest part of the brain. It controls basic survival functions, breathing, heart rate, sleep. It's also
Mm,
where you it's also where your dread detection systems lie. This part doesn't think, it just reacts. The limbic system,
okay.
the emotional brain. This is where your this is where your lives, this is where
Amygdala.
the amygdala is
I,
your
I just
alarm
learned that word.
system. It's it when
Mm-hmm.
it detects a threat, it sends a distress signal. It's like a smoke detector in your house. It goes off where there's danger. The pre the prefrontal
Mm,
cortex, the thinking brain. This is the newest part of your brain. It's where logic, reasoning, and decision making happens. It's the part that can say, wait, let me think about this. Here's what's critical. When trauma happens, your amygdala
mm,
hijacks your brain. Your amygdala detects the dread, it sends out alarm,
okay.
and your prefrontal cortex, Your thinking brain goes offline. You can think clearly, you can't reason, you can only survive. This is called the amygdalic hijacking, and it's a survival mechanism in a life or threatening situation.
Wow.
You don't have time to think, you have to react. But here's the problem: after the trauma is over, your amygdala can stay activated, it can stay in alarm mode, and your prefrontal cortex stays offline. So you're stuck in survival mode even though the threat is gone. This is why trauma survivors struggle with concentration and memory, decision making, emotional regulation, and even self esteem. This is why trauma survivors
Storm, are you still with us? I apologize. We are experiencing some technical difficulties tonight. Um, Storm's video seems to have paused for a moment. We're going to see if we can get her back.
Okay, sorry for that, fam. A little internet problem on this side. Thank you for remaining here. Like I said, your brain is literally in a
Mm,
different state than someone who has experienced trauma. The amygdala is constantly scanning for danger. It's hypervigilant. It's saying, where's the dread? Where's it coming from? How do I stay safe? And because your thinking brain is
mm.
offline, you can talk yourself down. You can rationalize. You can, you just stuck in the fear. So, Alfonso, trauma doesn't just affect your emotion, it changes your brain function. So, how do you feel about this?
Hmm. I can honestly state that there have been times when I was confronted in situations where my thinking froze. Like I could see what's happening, but like my heart rate increased. You know, I might stop breathing for a second, and it's like I'm bracing for impact, but it's not that type of situation. But still, I can I can see myself trying to work through the situation, but I know what I want to say. Sometimes the words don't come out right. Uh, Sometimes I might blurt out something that makes no sense whatsoever, but I'm still trying to remain in the moment. But it seems like the moment is escaping me, or I'm escaping the moment. I can't stay focused in the moment. So yeah, that type of response is exactly what you're talking about.
Mhm.
Um, this is this is something that's very problematic for us survivors. Back to you, Storm.
Yeah. All right. So, as we move along into segment two, the four trauma responses. Okay, so your brain is in alarm mode. Now, what does your body do? This is where you fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Responses come in. There are four ways your nervous systems try to protect you when it perceives a threat. And here's the thing: you might experience all four in different situations, or you might have one primary response. Fight response. Fight is exactly what it sounds
Mm.
like. Your body prepares to confront the threat. Your muscles tense. Your fists clench. You feel angry or aggressive. For survivors of abuse, fight can look like yelling or screaming, physically defending yourself, becoming argumentative or combative, rage or intense anger. That's the thing about fight is it's often
Mm.
response that get judged the most. People see anger and think that you are the problem, but anger is your nervous system saying, I'm not going down without a fight. Flight,
Mm.
which is another response, is flight is the body urge to escape. Your legs feel ready to run. Your heart is racing. You want to get away. For survivors, flight can look like running, literally or figuratively, excuse me, people. Avoiding situations that remind you of the trauma, constantly moving or restlessness, difficult staying in one place,
Mm-hmm.
leaving relationships when they get close. Flight is about creating distance, your nervous system saying, I need to get out of here. Then you have freeze. Freeze is when your body literally can't move. You're
Yeah.
paralyzed. Your mind is be racing, but your body is stuck. For survivors, freeze can look like feeling unable to move or speak during triggering moments, disassociation, feeling disconnected from the body or going numb,
Mm-hmm.
feeling difficulty taking action even when you want to, feeling stuck in
Mm.
relationships or situation. Freeze is often misunderstood. People think you're not trying hard enough or being passive. But freeze is a survival mechanism. Sometimes playing dead is the best strategy. It is what some animals do that can't fight or flee. Fawn response. Fawn is the response where you try to appease the threat. You become a people pleasing. You try to make other people happy so that they won't hurt you. For survivors, fawn can look like over
Mm.
apologizing, always putting other needs first, difficult saying no, trying to be perfect to avoid
Mm-hmm.
criticism, staying in harmful relationships because you're trying to fix them. Front is about control, Drew, compliance. Your nervous system is saying, if I'm nice enough, maybe they won't hurt me. Here's what's important to understand, fam. These responses are automatic. They happen in milliseconds. You don't choose them, your nervous system chooses them based on what it thinks will keep you safest. And difficult situations trigger different responses.
Mm.
You may freeze with one person and fight with another. You may frown in one situation and flee in another. None of these responses are wrong. They're all survival strategies. And understanding which one is your help, you understand yourself. Your trauma response is not a character flaw, it's your nervous system doing its job. Alfonso, which one of these responses resonate with you the most? And do you have a primary response?
Oh, I think several of these target me, or well, not target me, but explain uh, part of me. Um, one that I just talked about was the freeze response, where I tense up. So it's like I have part of the fight response because my adrenaline is running and I tense up. Like I don't know what's about to happen, but I get ready to like do whatever I need to do to protect myself. But at the same time, I'm frozen. Like I can't get away from the situation. My mind is racing. I can't think straight. And then there's the fawn response, I think would be a part of my trauma response. I over apologize. And the people always say, "You always saying sorry. You always saying sorry." That's part of it. I do listen to work sometimes. I find myself doing that sometimes, as a way of trying to not to have any conflict. I do have problems saying no to people. Um, I try to do everything I can so I won't be accused of any responsibility. But there's another part that people pleaser. I always try to fit in with people they want me to be. Just so I can, there would never be any issues. That's what I resonate with the most. Those.
Yes.
Um, One of the most frustrating things about trauma is the inability to concentrate. You're trying to have a conversation, and your mind just won't focus. Here's why: when your nervous system is in threat mode, your brain prioritizes survival over everything else. Your prefrontal, your prefrontal cortex, the part that handles concentration, memory, and learning, is offline.
Yes.
Your amygdala, that word always trips me up too. I just learned that today,
Yes.
trying to say it right, and I'm still messing it up. So excuse me. I'm trying to get the word right. Your amygdala, amygdala. That's what it is. Amygdala. Okay, it's running the show. That part of your brain is running the show. Your brain is literally asking, "Is this safe? Am I going to die? What's asking, what does this email say? Or what did my boss just tell me? This is your brain scanning for danger. Your brain thinks survival is most important, but it said, I'm guilty of that. You space out in conversations. I'm guilty of that. You start tasks but can't finish them. That's off and on. You have trouble learning new things, and I've never had a problem with that. But I imagine some people would. Your memory feels foggy. Yeah, that's me. You forget appointments or commitments. That's definitely me. You lose track of time. That's me. See, there's even one other thing. Like, if you missing stuff, you forget stuff too. Like, I forgot where I put my keys, or I forgot where I put my wallet. I forgot where I put my purse or my phone, or I left my phone at home and stuff. That's classic me, straight up. But that's all a part of what we're talking about here. This is not laziness. This is not stupidity. This is your nervous system doing exactly what it's designed to do: keep you alive. The science behind it: when you're in survival mode, your brain releases stress hormones, cortisol, and adrenaline. These hormones are designed to help you survive immediate danger, but they also impair your ability to form new memories and concentrate on the task. Excuse me, on the task. Your hippocampus, the part of your brain responsible for memory, literally and actually shrinks. It shrinks under chronic stress, or it gets smaller. That's why trauma survivors often have memory problems. This is how you work with it. First, you give yourself some grace. Your brain is working overtime. You break smaller tasks into smaller chunks. Your attention span is limited right now, so you have to take on little bites at things. Eliminate distractions. Your brain is already distracted by internal threats. Got to use grounding techniques before trying to concentrate. Have to calm your nervous system first. Don't expect to function at 100%. You're operating at maybe 60, 70% capacity. That's okay. Try to write things down, use reminders, use tools to compensate for the memory issues like sticky notes or something like that. Put a note in your phone. Hey, man, there's a buzz. We need to do something. The good news is, as you heal and your nervous system calms down, your concentration will improve. This is permanent. Your brain can heal. Brain fog after trauma is not a character flaw. It's a system, no, not a system, a symptom of your nervous system being in survival mode. Storm, have you ever experienced?
I have always tend to be in survival mode in different situations. But like you say, as we move through time, and give ourselves grace, we can get through this because that's what therapy do. You still have to seek out therapy from time to time. I would say, to my general audience, you get the help that you need because even though you probably had some help in the past, you still need help in the future because it's things that still can trigger your traumas and you got to be ready for them people. Just always remember, seek out therapy help because it's what you're going to need to survive out here. Trauma is real. It's every day. It's 24 hours a day. It's worldwide. It's from continent to continent. So, it's not good at all. But talking to a therapist, it helps me get through everything that I need to get through. Back to you, Alfonso.
I agree. I agree. I think as a survivor, we experience these things. There's danger or a threat of danger. We can sometimes be in the middle of a conversation and perceive something said to be threatening or be joking with some people and think that one of the jokes was a threat to you or targeting you. The fact that you're around others while this is going on may compound that situation in your mind. So there's a lot packed into that situation as far as uh, these type of responses and how we literally react to them. So if you ever find someone you talking to and all of a sudden they seem like they're becoming guarded or combative or maybe reactive to what the conversation is, like, whoa, man, I didn't mean it like that. I wasn't trying to. That may be that person going through that trauma response. It's like a red flag to look for. So yeah, these are some things that I have experienced, and I'm sure some of the survivors out there listening to this have also experienced these similar things. Back to you, Storm.
All right. Getting with segment 4, nightmares, flashbacks, and intrusive thoughts. One of the scariest parts of trauma recovery is nightmares. I can contest to that. You finally asleep and then suddenly you back into trauma. Your heart is racing, you're grasping for air, and it feels so real. Let me explain what happens. Nightmares. During the sleep, your brain is processing the day's experience. It's filing things away, making senses of things, but when you experience trauma, your brain gets stuck on it. Your amygdala is still in alarm mode. So during REM sleep, the stage where dreaming happens, your brain replays the trauma. It is trying to process, it is trying to make sense of it. But because of your prefrontal
Mm,
cortex is offline during sleep, you can't rationalize it. You can't tell yourself, this is a dream, I'm safe. You're just experiencing the terror all over again. Nightmares are your brain's way of trying to heal, but they're exhausting and they keep you from getting the rest you need. Some survivors avoid sleep because they're afraid of nightmares. This creates a vicious cycle of lack of sleep, makes your nervous system more dysregulated, which makes the nightmares worse. Now you have flashbacks. A
mm,
flashback is when something triggers you and suddenly you back in the trauma, not remembering it, actually experiencing it. Your body is reacting if it's happening right now. This happens because of something called state dependence memory. Your brain stores traumatic memories difficultly than regular memories. They're stored with all sensor details, the smell, the sounds, the physical emotions, the physical sensation. So when you encounter something that reminds your brain of the trauma, a smell, a
mm,
sound, a similar situation, your brain goes into full alert. It's not a choice, it's automatic. During a flashback,
mm,
your heart races. You may sweat or shake. You feel some fear you felt during the trauma. You may lose track of where you are. Time feels distorted. Flashbacks can last seconds or minutes, and they're terrifying because they feel completely real. Now you have intrusive doubts. These are unwanted doubts that pop
yeah.
into your head. They often violate, disturbing, or shameful, and they'll feel like you're coming out of nowhere. Intrusive doubts happens because your brain is trying to process the trauma once again. It is replaying it over and over, trying to make sense of it. The doubts feel like they mean something about you, but they don't. They just your brain's way of processing. Common intrusion doubts for survivors, replaying the trauma
Mm,
over and over. Imagine the worst case scenarios. Doubts of self-harm or suicide, violent or disturbing images, shame-based doubts. It was my fault. I'm dirty. I'm broken. These doubts don't define you. They're symptoms of trauma, not reflections of who you are. And this is how you cope. Grounding techniques help bring you back to presence. Therapy, especially EMDR and trauma focuses CBT, can help process these memories. Medication can sometimes help with nightmares. Sleep hygiene practices can improve sleep quality. Remind yourself this is a memory not happening now. I'm safe. Nightmares, flashbacks, and intuition doubts are not signals you're not going crazy. They're signs of your brain trying to heal. So, Alfonso, have you experienced these? What have been your experience with these?
mm. Yeah. Yeah, I experienced like this replaying the trauma over and over. It's like the part where it said invasive thoughts, where things will come back into your head about the scenario and trying to force it out of your mind. Like you trying not to think about it, you try to focus on something else. Um, then, yeah, the imagining the worst case scenarios. I mean, but it ain't like you just sitting down, you got time to think. It's like this stuff happens fast. Like you could be walking down the street. What if this guy tried to do this? What can I do? I'm gonna grab this and I'm gonna do. You know, it. Your mind is racing, thinking about every single problem that could be, even though it's not a threat. I mean, your mind is buzzing, literally. Um, Back closer to when the trauma happened in my life, I had a lot of thoughts of self harm and suicide. A lot, a lot. I almost tried it once. Uh, if it wasn't for next door neighbor catching me about to jump off the roof, I wouldn't be here today. Um, so yeah, and the other one, the shame based thoughts. Oh Lord, how many times I done walked into a room full of people, whether they know me or not, and I instantly started thinking about what I've been through. And these people looking at me, how they thinking about me. And it's it's shame that plagues you. It was my fault. Because I'm the one that did this, that caused that to happen. You blame yourself, blame yourself, blame yourself, and then you think everybody else is gonna browbeat you or talk badly about you or dismiss you, based upon. So, yeah, I'm I'm swimming in this stuff. This is a lot, and I'm gonna use some of these techniques, the grounding techniques, to try to calm myself the next time my mind starts racing like that. And I'm gonna use this stuff because this is some good information right here. Um, with that, we're gonna go off into the next segment. It's some strong
Oh,
stuff tonight, y'all.
also remember, my general audience
Yes,
that
ma'am.
you can do lavender tea to, calm down, to help you calm and sleep. Back to you, Alfonso.
Lavender tea. I heard chamomile was good too.
Yes, very calming.
So I need to try one of those. Which one do you prefer, the
But
chamomile or the lavender?
the chamomile is for relaxation. The lavender tea is more like for sleep. It helps to aid in you sleeping, especially if you're having nightmares and triggers.
Okay, okay, that makes sense. Um, I think I would go with the chamomile then, because that's my thing. I need to calm my mind down most of the time. I might
Yes.
invest in some of that for myself. I've seen some of your podcasts on TikTok, and you talk a lot about self help and stuff like that. So, for anybody who doesn't know, they need to go on TikTok and look up Diamanda, and she talks about self help and remedies and natural herbs and stuff that you can use to help yourself calm down and relax yourself. She talks about the breathing techniques that we brought up here. The 4-4-4-4 box breathing and the 5-4-3-2-1 look see. I can't remember all of them, but it's like five things that you could see, four things that you could touch, so on and so forth. But these are things to get your mind off the trauma. And she is very good at what she does. You can go on TikTok and check her out. What times do you go on TikTok, by the way?
I'm at 7 o'clock in the morning Central Standard Time and 8 p.m. at night Central Standard Time. And on the weekend, I do 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time.
Okay, so there you have it, folks. If you want to go outside the podcast and find a way to calm yourself down or find some different methods of self help, you can always check out Diamanda on her TikTok page. Um, we are going off into triggers and why certain things set you off. You're doing fine, you're managing, and then something happens, a smell, a sound, a certain type of person, and suddenly you're in full panic mode. Why? Triggers are anything that reminds your nervous system, reminds your nervous system of being, excuse me, your nervous system, oh, tongue twisted. Your nervous system has a long memory.
Yes.
Here's how it works. When you're, yeah, okay, here's another thing. Me and Amanda had about Miss Storm here. We talked about language barriers with trauma survivors. That's going to be another show altogether. But as trauma survivors, and we are talking about how stress and all these other things bring out these responses that we have. Speech is impaired as well, along with the uh, stress situation. So you'll find us getting tongue twisted, messing up words, when we're not stressed or trying to talk when we're relaxed, we speak more clearly. So this platform, you're catching everything. It's all live and all recorded. As we mess up, you're seeing part of our trauma come through. And I just wanted to let you guys know that both of us, Storm and I, are both survivors. And this is part of what we've been dealing with all our lives. After the trauma, we've been dealing with certain issues, trying to normalize. Well, okay, now that was a sidebar. Let me get back to what we were talking about. Um, when you experience trauma, your brain encoded everything about that experience. Not just the main event, but all the details, the smell of the room, the time of day, the type of person who hurt you, the weather, the sound of their voice, everything. Your brain did this as a survival mechanism. It was trying to help you recognize danger in the future. If you see these signs, get away. But the problem is, your brain can always distinguish between the actual threat reminds you of the threat. So you might be triggered by a certain smell, cologne, alcohol, food, a certain tone of voice. I actually heard a guy saying he hates. You might think this is strange. You remember the Allstate commercials and
Yes.
the tall black gentleman that used to do the Allstate? He had that really deep voice.
Yes.
I can't mimic his voice. But over there,
Yeah.
all state. I can't remember the voice, but
Yeah.
a guy told me, he's like, I can't stand this guy. I can't stand him. I can't stand. I was like, why? Because he reminded me of somebody, and he sounded just like him. I didn't go into detail back then because I didn't understand what I understand now. But he was triggered by that sound of that voice, and every time that commercial played, it triggered him. These are real things, people. That was a red flag I didn't understand back then. Okay, moving on. A certain type of body or appearance, a certain time of day or season. I knew a woman who really hated winter season. That was a whole other thing. She got flustered and upset every time it got cold. I thought it was the holidays, but I think it was something more. Now that I'm learning about more things like this, a certain location or type of building, a certain type of situation, like being yelled at or being touched unexpectedly, being in a car, being in a crowd, it can give me cold chills. So I understand that one personally. Personally, even a certain word or phrase, hmm holidays or anniversaries. Again, that goes back to the other thing. Songs or music, yeah, those can be triggering. When you're triggered, your nervous system goes into the same state it was in during the trauma. Your heart starts to race, your breathing becomes fast. You might freeze, fight, flight, or fawn. And it all feels completely real. It's like the danger is happening right now. What's important is that you're not overreacting. Your nervous system is reacting appropriately to what it perceives as a threat. The trigger might seem small to someone else, but to you and your nervous system, it's a red alert. This is why people say things like, why are you so upset? Or it's just a smell. They don't understand that your brain has connected that smell to a danger. Here's how to work with the triggers. First, we identify what they are. What specifically triggers you? You have to be specific and write them down. So that means you got to keep like a little notepad, something similar to this. I keep this with me and I write down everything. And you might think, ain't nothing in this. This stuff all up in here. I'm not going to show you everything, but this is almost filled up. But keep that on you. Write down whenever you start to feel something a certain way. And that helps you keep track of things. Avoid those things when possible. Like when you start to feel yourself triggered, you write it down and you know what's triggering you right then, start avoiding that. If certain
Yes.
situations trigger you, don't put yourself in those situations unnecessarily. What I mean by unnecessarily, I mean like say it's somebody at your job that triggers you. You can't avoid your job, but you can limit the time that you have around that person. If you have to work with them closely, maybe ask for a different partner or something like that and see if you could switch up. There's ways around it. Prepare for them. That means prepare yourself for the trigger. If you know you'll encounter a trigger, prepare yourself. Use the grounding techniques beforehand. Process them with a therapist. You can work on desensitizing yourself to triggers over time. I haven't gotten to that part yet with my therapist. I can't wait. Yeah, I'm smiling because I'm like, yeah, that's coming.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I know that's
All right. Yeah, it's coming.
yeah.
It's coming. I'm gonna
Decom-
say, get ready, get
I'm
ready.
I can't wait. Really, I'm excited. I'm excited to learn something on how to
Yes.
get rid of some of this stuff. Whew. Mm. Another thing is be compassionate with yourself. Triggers are not your fault. Communicate with safe people. Let them know what triggers you so they can support you. Um, unlike my past where I didn't have a safe person, I did have some people I thought I could talk to uh, about my trauma, but later on in life, I found out that they had their own trauma. So they weren't willing to share or talk about that too much. So I couldn't continue to keep coming to them. And because my family situation and all of us have experienced childhood abuse in various ways, we all kind of don't talk to each other about that. And that's caused us to be a little estranged from each other. Uh, some more so than others, like me, because uh, yeah. Well, I'm not gonna go too deep into that tonight. That's a whole nother thing. So, triggers are not weaknesses. They're evidence that your nervous system is protecting you. And with time and healing, their power diminishes. Storm, do you know what your triggers are and how do you manage them?
Well, a long time ago, before I got help, my triggers was I didn't care about the sun. I didn't care about the daylight hours. I got stuck on it being rainy. I love the rain. I love the winter. I loved it for it to just be settled, quiet,
Mm,
and dark because it was in the light of the day when everything happened. So seeing the sunlight, seeing the light of the day
okay.
is what triggered me. I didn't care for sunlight. I didn't care going outside to play.
Mm,
I isolated myself. But once I got help, I was able to enjoy the daylight again. But I cared more about it being a rainy, gloomy day. And I was like, when it was raining, people like, what you happy about? I'm like, yeah, enjoy the weather. And it was raining and gloomy and people didn't like it. But I was liking it because I felt like I was safe because the sunlight was a danger to me.
mm. Ooh, I understand that. I know it might be a little strange, but I don't like bathrooms. I, that's where my trauma happened. It was in the bathroom. And to this day, I don't like bathrooms. I force myself to use them, but I do not like being in them. Uh, that's something I'm gonna have to talk to my therapist about. Storm, we going into segments.
Yes, disassociation and feeling disconnected. Sometimes after trauma, you feel you're watching your life from outside of your body. I can contest to that. Or you feel numb, or you feel like nothing is real. This is called disassociation. Disassociation is a protected mechanism. When pain or fear becomes too much, your mind literally disconnects from your body. It's like your mind is saying, this is too much. I'm going to step back. What disassociation can feel like, feeling like you're watching yourself from the outside of your body, feeling numb or emotionally flat, feeling like the world isn't real. This realization, feeling like your
Mm,
body isn't yours. Depersonalization, memory gaps, a lost time, feeling detached from your emotions, feeling like you're in a dream or a frog. which I can contest to that. Not recognizing yourself in the mirror, feeling disconnected from conversations happening around you. Disassociates, disassociation
Definitely.
exists on a spectrum. Everyone disassociates a little bit sometimes, like when you're driving and suddenly realize you don't remember the last few miles. I have been doing this and I didn't know what it was. But for trauma survivors, disassociation
Mm,
can be more frequent and more intense. Why it happens? Disassociation is in your mind's way of protecting you from overwhelming pain. During trauma, disassociation might have saved your life. It allowed you to survive sometimes unbearably by stepping outside of it. Your mind says if you stay fully present in the body while it's happening, I won't survive. I'm going to disconnect. But after the trauma, disassociation can be a habit. Your nervous system learned that when things get hard, you disconnect. So keep doing it, even when even when you're safe. The problem with disassociation, while disassociation protects you in the moment, it also keeps you stuck. You can't process the
mm,
trauma if you're disconnected from your body. You can't heal if you're not present. And disassociation can interfere with your life. You miss important moments. You struggle to connect with people. You feel like you're not really living. You have trouble making decisions. You feel like you're passing you by. How to work with disassociation. Grounding techniques are essential. The 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique. Cold water on the face. Holding ice. Feeling your feet on the ground. These bring your body back. This brings you back to your body. Moment helps dance, stretch, walk, run. Moment reminds you that you're in your body. Movement reminds you that you're in your body. Sensor experiences, strong taste, sour candy or peppermints, strong smells, essential oils, coffee, textures, soft blanket, or rough stone. Work with trauma informed therapists. Therapists like EMDR, symptomatic experiences, and sensor motor psychotherapy are specifically designed to help with
specifically.
disassociation. Specifically
Hmm.
designed to help with disassociation. Thank you. Be patient with yourself.
Welcome.
Disassociation is survival skills. You're not broken. You're learning a new way to be present. Practice mindfulness, even 5 minutes a day of being present in your body. Disassociation is your mind's way of saying, this is too much. And that's okay. But healing means learning to be present again, even when it's hard. Alfonso, have you experienced disassociation and what helps you come back to your body?
Honestly, talking about this tonight, I disassociated during this conversation right here. I ain't gonna lie. As soon as we started talking about the dissociation part, my mind drifted like whoop. I didn't want to. My mind was like, I ain't trying to.
Oh
Uh.
my God.
But I was like, wait a minute, what am I doing? I'm on. I'm on
Mhm.
live. I gotta come back. I'm on live. What the focus, man? So I mean, literally just then, I was like drifting. Like it wasn't a sleep thing. It was exactly what you was talking about for real.
Okay. You did it just now.
Like
I did it
I don't know. Like
earlier.
okay, we talking about some serious stuff here. And my therapist noticed in me too. And my therapist noticed in me too. She was like, "What happened just now?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And she brought me back to the present. My mind was like somewhere else because we was talking some real stuff, and my mind went out. ain't trying to talk about this. You trying to do something my mind ain't ready for. And that's what you're doing to me now. We was on last Spacey. Kevin Spacey. Yes, Kevin Spacey. I was out there. So yeah, when we talk about some serious stuff, it get real. You know, it's not something to play with, but it's a real thing when you feel like a situation is getting too tough for you, or your mind is saying it's getting to a point where you can't deal with it, then you space out. And I have been experiencing this a lot, especially when I'm talking to my therapist or discussing certain serious things concerning this um, trauma that I have endured. So I understand anybody else who would dissociate from a conversation concerning that. So if you're a survivor and you're experiencing any of this stuff helping you, please, 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 by all means, use the tools that we're providing for you tonight or in any other podcast that we've broadcast out there. Um, do us a favor if it's helping you. Any of the tools or the methods that we've presented to you help, then use them and come back to us. Go to terror, the number two, triumph at gmail.com. Reach out to us. Let us know that, hey, this stuff is working. Let us know if we should continue in this path of trying to divulge this information. We're finding it out so we can spread it out to everybody who needs it. Not just me, not just Storm. We're doing this as like a selfless act trying to help others. Um, Let me stop there because I can go on and on about this, but we got a time frame. We only got like 3 minutes left, and we have a couple segments left. So let's try to hurry up and go through these so we can finish off the episode tonight. Segment 7 is about understanding stops self blame. Here's what I want to land on. Understanding the neuroscience of trauma is transformative because it shifts the narrative from what's wrong with me to what happened to me. For years, I've blamed myself for my trauma responses. I thought, why can't I concentrate? Something must be wrong with me. I must be stupid or something. Or why do I freeze when I'm scared? I'm a sucker. I'm a punk or something. I'm weak. Or why do I have nightmares? I might be broken or something. I'm just mentally unstable. What's up? What am I having nightmares? Or said this, but this might be something that you could say. Why do I fawn and people please? I must be pathetic. Now, to be clear, even though I did those things, I did never ask until later on why. I never questioned it until later on in life. I mean, like decades later, because I didn't understand I was doing it in the meantime. Uh, why can't I just get over it? Why can't I get over the trauma? Everyone else seems to be fine. But when I understood that these responses are neurological, that my brain is literally wired differently because of trauma, things changed. I wasn't stupid. My prefrontal cortex was offline. I wasn't weak. My nervous system was protecting me through the freeze response. I wasn't broken. My brain was doing exactly what it was designed to do, trying to process and survive. I wasn't pathetic. Fawning was a survival strategy that kept me alive. This shift is crucial because when you blame yourself, you stay stuck in shame. Shame keeps you isolated. Shame keeps you from healing. Shame tells you you're the problem. But when you understand the neuroscience, you can have compassion for yourself. You can say, my nervous system is doing its job. Now I need to help it learn that I'm safe. Understanding also helps you stop expecting yourself to function normally when your brain is in survival mode. Uh, yeah, you're not normal right now. You had to realize that, you know, your mind is functioning differently than normal minds. So until you've corrected that, you have to expect to think differently, act differently, your body to react differently. You have to set realistic expectations for yourself. Ask for help without shame. Work with your nervous system instead of against it. Celebrate the small wins instead of beating yourself up. I said that before. Celebrate the small wins. You have to, instead of beating yourself up for not being fixed yet. Like it's not going to happen overnight. It's a process, but it can happen. Recognize progress even when it feels slow. Be patient with your healing journey. Wow, this seems like I just repeated myself just then. You got to be patient with yourself. Take time with yourself. Here's the truth: you're not broken. You're not, and you're not too sensitive. You're a survivor. Nervous system is doing everything it can to keep you alive. Your brain adapted to survive trauma. And now, with understanding and support, your brain can adapt again to heal. That deserves respect. That deserves compassion. That deserves celebration. The shift is from what's wrong with me to what happened to me and how do I heal? From I'm broken to I'm healing. From I should be over this by now to healing takes as long as it takes. From I'm weak to I survive. And that takes incredible strength. This understanding is the foundation of healing. It's the shift that everything is going to change, and it changes everything. Understanding trauma neuroscience is the antidote to self blame. It's the shift from shame to compassion, and that's where healing begins. Storm, did you how did the understanding rather the neuroscience change your relationship with yourself?
From I'm broken to I'm healing, because I felt that I was broken. And then when I got derby, that's when I really just started to heal because I really wasn't healing. And that's when I basically started healing. But it took time. Like you said, nothing takes overnight. This is not a night flight. It takes time, and you still go through stuff from time to time because there are still triggers. But you tell yourself,
Mm,
you have to talk to yourself, and you have to say, you know, I am safe. You have to ground yourself, like you say, get on top of the ground. And sometimes you have to wake up out your sleep and touch that flow, to let yourself know I'm safe. I'm in a safe place. So yes, it's real.
mm. Okay. Well, we're moving on into segment 8, moving toward
Okay.
healing.
All right. Moving toward healing. Okay, so now that you understand why your body does what it does, now what? How do you actually use this knowledge to heal? Understanding is step one, but understanding is step one, but healing requires action. Step one, validate your response. Now that you know your trauma response are neurological, validate them. Stop fighting them. Stop judging. them. When you freeze, say, my nervous system is protecting me. That's okay. When you have a nightmare, say, my brain is processing. That's a part of healing. That's a part of healing. When you're a trigger, say, my nervous system recognize a threat. I can handle this. When you disassociate it, say, my mind is protecting me. I can come back when I'm ready. Validation doesn't mean you like to respond, it means that you accept without shame. Step two, work with your nervous system. Your nervous system learns to be in survival mode. Now you need to teach it that you are safe. This happens through grounding techniques. Bring yourself back to the present. Movement, processing trauma stored in your body. Connection, showing your nervous system that relationships can be safe. Therapy, rewiring your brain with professional support. Time, healing is not fast, but it's real. Self compassion, treating yourself with kindness. Step three, build neural pathways. Your brain has learned certain patterns, but neuroplasticity means your brain can learn new patterns. Every time you ground yourself instead of disassociating, stay present instead of fleeting, speak up instead of frowning, feel your feelings instead of numbing. Trust yourself instead of doubting yourself. Choose healing over survival. You're building new neural pathways. You're rewiring your brain. It's a slow work, but a real work. Step four, be patient with process. Trauma rewire your brain. Healing takes time to rewire it again. Don't expect to be fixed in a few weeks. Don't expect to never be.
Did we lose Storm just then? Mm, okay. Well, I'll try to pick up where she left off. Don't expect to be fixed in a few weeks. Don't expect to never be triggered again. Don't expect to function perfectly. Expect progress. Expect setbacks. Expect a non-linear journey. Some days will be better. Some days will be worse. That's normal. That's healing. And celebrate every moment you handle something differently. Every moment you choose healing over survival. Every moment you trust yourself. Five, get professional help. Understanding the neuroscience is powerful, but healing requires professional support. A trauma informed therapist can help you process the trauma stored in your nervous system, can help you learn specific techniques to calm your nervous system, can help you rewire your brain through evidence based therapies like EMDR, experiencing, or trauma focused CBT. Long term healing, or don't try to do this alone. Professional support is not a luxury, it's essential. Step six, build your support system. Healing doesn't happen in isolation. You need people who believe you, support you, don't minimalize your experience, show up consistently, understand the trauma, find people, find your people, lean on them, let them help. Practice self compassion is step seven. This is the most important step. Be kind to yourself. Talk to yourself like you talk to a friend. When you're struggling, say, I'm doing the best I can. Healing takes time. I'm proud of myself for showing up. I deserve compassion. Self compassion is the foundation of healing. Understand why your body does is the first step. Taking action to heal is the next step. And you're capable of both. Now, what's the action you're going to encourage listeners to take this week to work with their nervous system? I encourage everybody to take every action that you can. Follow the steps to ground yourself. Uh, Follow the steps to make sure that you're okay when you're disassociating or when you're finding yourself being triggered. Um, we're going to go into the call to action tonight, and that is tonight we've broken down the neuroscience of trauma. We've explained why your body does what it does, and we've talked about how understanding this stops the self blame. Here's what we want you to do we want you to identify your response. Which of the four responses, flight, fight, freeze, fawn, is yours? Write it down. Understand it, even if it's more than one. Identify your triggers. What specifically triggers you? Be specific and write them down. Practice one grounding technique. Try the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique or the box breathing. Notice what helps your nervous system calm down. Stop blaming yourself. Every time you catch yourself thinking, what's wrong with me? Pause and say, what happened to me? And how do I heal? Find find yourself some professional support. If you haven't already, find out how informed this episode helped you understand yourself a little bit better. Please tell us. Your story might help someone else. And by all means, new episodes drop every week. Follow us on YouTube at Triumph Live or follow us on all social platforms. We're pretty much everywhere almost now. Hey, Storm, she came back. Yay! We missed you.
Technical difficulties.
Okay. You're not broken. Your nervous system is doing its job. And with understanding, compassion, and professional support, you can heal. We believe in you.
Yes.
Storm, you want to do the outro?
Well, before we go, I want to say the fact that you're listening to this episode means that you're committed to understanding yourself. That's huge. That's the foundation of healing. Your trauma responses are not your fault, remember, but your healing is your responsibility and you're capable of it. Every time you ground yourself instead of disassociating, you're healing. Every time you recognize a trigger and handle it differently, you're healing. Every time you choose compassion for yourself instead of self blame, you're healing. This is what healing looks like. Not perfection, not never being triggered again, but showing up for yourself again and again. Before we close, I want to tell you about something that happened that keeps this podcast running. Terror to Trump is supported by Pelps Imperial. We offer sportswear and merchandise, t-shirts, hoodies, jerseys, hats, and other artistically created items. When you purchase from Pels Imperium, anything except Crystal's Corners, the proceeds go directly to supporting Terror to Trump. This helps us absorb the cost of running the podcast. We want to give you something tangible in returning for your support. So when you buy from us, you're not just donating, you're giving quality merchandise while helping us keep these conversations going. You can find us at www.peltimperium.com. Remember, we are all beautiful. Next week, episode 11, we'll continue conversations. We're going to talk specifically derpies and techniques that help rewire your nervous system. EMDR, symptomatic experiencing grounding techniques. We're going to break it all down and give you practical tools you can use right now. Alfonso, your final words.
Thank you, Storm. And to everyone listening, you're not alone in this. There are millions of survivors out there doing the same work. We're all learning to rewire our brains and our nervous systems. We're all learning to trust ourselves all over again. And we're all here for each other. Understanding your trauma responses is not the end of the journey, it's the beginning. It's the moment you stop fighting yourself and start working with yourself. Your nervous system has been trying to protect you. Honor that. And now, gently teach it you're safe. You're worthy of healing. You're worthy of peace. And you're worthy of a life where your nervous system can finally rest. I'm Alfonso Pelt. This is Terror to Triumph. And thank you for your courage. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for trusting us with your journey. We'll see you next week.